All right, so here we are, Mac. Today I have a special present for you.
Alrighty, what you got?
So we're going to show Mac a word and its definition. We're going to have Mac attempt to pronounce said word the way that he would pronounce it phonetically for himself. And the reason we're doing this is because Scrabble players, we tend to mispronounce words not purposely, just to remember how they're spelled. And oftentimes those words are relatively common English words that we're just mispronouncing. But in this case, most of these words are kind of weird.
Go and guesses in the comments for how many of these words I'm going to actually pronounce correctly, and you should probably guess lower than you think.
Yeah, and I will. So basically, what I'll do is I'll do the first slide. Mac will try to pronounce it. I'll go to the second slide with the phonetic pronunciation. I will play that sound, and Mac won't actually hear it in our call, but then I will pronounce the word. All right, let's start with this one. How do you think this very, very common Scrabble word, XU, is pronounced?
This is a interesting one for sure, Josh. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I encounter this word in my videos, I kind of dodge the question since I know I don't know how to pronounce it, and I just say XU, but I'm confident that's not correct. So I am going to go with zoo.
All right, so zoo is not correct. But what's funny about this is that I think Will Anderson also mispronounces it, and a few people have told him this. But here is what it says. So this is pronounced
Sue.
Sue, apparently. And if I'm wrong about any of these, you blame the Merriam-Webster website. I'm trying to get the American pronunciations of all these words that are in the North American lexicon. But apparently, we're supposed to say Sue. All right.
Okay.
What is
0 for
our
1. Let's
next
go.
one? Yeah, 0 for 1. That's okay. All right, so we're staying on the theme of monetary units, and this is a very fun one. There are only a couple words that start with NG, actually, two monetary units. This one and NGWEE. How would you pronounce this word?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite words. I have actually played it before too. It's a really cool word to play, especially with two U's. I would pronounce this ngultrum.
Okay, so that's close, but I don't think that's correct. I think the pronunciation
Ngultrum.
is all right. It's ngultrum. So very close. Let me try that again. Actually, let me have people listen to this.
Ngultrum.
Ngultrum. So you said ngultrum?
Correct.
Yeah, that's how I would have pronounced it too, but apparently not. Apparently ngultrum is the correct one. All right, over two.
Okay, that one
You'll
was
have some
close.
softballs. You'll
Mhm.
have some softballs. Don't worry. But yeah, that was very close. It's also yeah the NGWEE one. I think is just ngui. That was a little bit easier. All right, next one. The last, I think the last monetary unit. This one.
I would probably say butut.
That's what I would also say. But apparently it is butut.
Butut.
Uh-huh.
Butut. So, a fun one there. Hopefully we can, start pronouncing these words correctly now that we know, but who knows? All right. All right, what's the next one? This one might be easier.
Okay, this one I think I know since I do love hot sauce myself. I would say habanero.
All right. Well, you have just fallen for a trap. I think this is called, oh my God, the hyper foreignism. So this habanero is actually it's an acceptable pronunciation in the US because of how many people mispronounce it. In fact, there is no Nye on the end. So it's just habanero, or
Huh.
habanero, if you're not pronouncing the H. But the Nye pronunciation or is it a tilde? I don't remember what the term is so common that it has become a secondary pronunciation.
Okay, well,
And
give me half a point for that one then. What do you say, Josh?
yeah, I think a half a point. And so a hyperforeignism, I think the definition of that is a word that people try to pronounce given the language of origin, but mispronounce using the language of origin's pronunciations just falsely. I think that's what a hyperforeignism is. Anyway, so Habanero, Habanero, let's have the sound play for everybody watching.
Habanero.
Yeah. All right. It's not going to get that much easier, I don't think. Here is our next. Well, let's look at the pronunciation here. Here's our next one.
Yes, this one, I guess you could say a little bit infamous because of another certain clip of another player who posts Scrabble content on YouTube, who I will not name, mispronouncing I should say this word. The correct pronunciation, I believe, is fajita.
That's correct, and I knew you would pronounce it right, so I didn't even prepare a second slide for this one. It was just a little bit of meme, just to show you guys. Mac's not the only one that mispronounces words, and we'll play a little clip on the YouTube video of this if I can find it. But it was very very funny to hear this.
Fajitas.
All right, next one. Oh, whoops, I clicked out of it. This one is unpronounceable. I don't think I've found a single person in the Scrabble community that's pronounced this properly.
Oh boy. Uh uh Fauteuil?
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets, honestly. People that I've had pronounced this one, but the proper pronunciation, the way I pronounce it is fauteuil, but I think the proper pronunciation is a little bit more English than that, English sounding. Let me listen to it.
Fauteuil.
Fauteuil. Yeah, fauteuil. So the EUI French vowel just trips everyone up, even as a speaker of French myself. It's still very difficult. So no worries there. Let's move on.
Uh it's
So
funny.
this
This
is
is
a commonly used word, right?
Yeah, this is a word I've certainly heard a lot, and I've seen it though typed out or like read it in books or articles much more than I've heard it said, which is not going to help my cause in attempting to pronounce it. I would say schadenfreude.
Very, very close. I'm gonna give you a half a point for that one. But I think the German pronunciation and English pronunciation are kind of the same. Schadenfreude. So
Ah.
very close. You had the last two syllables correct. Let's have a listen here.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. So you said Schadenfreude. Very close, right?
Yeah, I got the A off a little bit, and I didn't get the separate syllable on the last E.
Yep. Okay. Another one that you're sure to remember.
Aye. Yes, good old man get out. I remember how much I loved learning this word as a front extension to get out, and I actually played it once on years ago on the Internet Scrabble Club ISC. I extended an opening play of get out to man get out, which got challenged, and I presume that given that get out means like the act of getting out, this is like some sort of interjection saying to a fellow male friend or something, "Hey man, get out!" Right?
Yes. You would think so. In fact, the definition of type of edible pea pod, I didn't actually realize this was a French word or an English word, excuse me, until you told me about it. So, knowing that it's a French word, let's see if you can pronounce it.
Well, that does change things a little bit. I guess knowing that it's a French word and it has nothing to do with yelling at your buddy to get the heck out of a burning building, and that it's actually a kind of pea pod, I would probably pronounce it Mangetout.
Very close. Okay, another half point for sure.
Okay.
It would be Mangetout. So, very, very close. I think I have the pronunciation here. Where is it? Audio French.
Mangetout.
Mangetout. Yes. But yeah, I didn't know this was a word, and you know, if you played it on me, I probably would have challenged too until you taught it to me. So, all right. I found a lot of tough ones, but let's see if we can go a little bit, potentially a little bit easier on the next one.
Okay, I believe this is a Latin word or Greek. I forget. It's one of those, and it's a sticky S, which in Scrabble means that it's only good with the S. So litote is not a word. I believe this is litotes.
All right, so let's listen. Let's see if this is correct. I think it might be.
Litotes.
Indeed, it is.
All right, let's go.
Litotes is a correct pronunciation. All right, you're on the board. Very nice. Is that 2.5 points?
I
Maybe
believe
keep
that
score.
is, it's either 2.5 or 3. I can't remember if I had 1 or 2 half pointers, but something like that.
Nice. Yes. This was a word that first time I played it, I told my club mates, "Oh, I played litotes," and they all looked at me like, "What?" All right. Next word is a word you love. Let's see if you can pronounce it.
Ooh, I think this is Ololiuqui.
All right. Not quite there. Not quite there. Ololiuqui is how I also pronounce it, but apparently it's Ololiuqui.
Huh.
Let's see. Let's listen to it.
Ololiuqui.
Ololiuqui. Apparently, but we might be wrong. We might be wrong
Interesting.
in this pronunciation. So this is an awesome word that a lot of Scrabble players would love to play. Have you played this one?
I have not played it, no, but yeah, I would love to. It's obviously really hard to play given how crummy those letters are, but at the same time, it would be amazing to play because by definition, if you're able to play this, your rack is absolutely awful, and you're probably thinking you're going to have to play off QI or exchange even, and then this would materialize out of thin air. So it's certainly a dream play for myself and many players. I assume you haven't played it either, Josh?
Have not, and yeah, may never play it, but the dream is alive with this sort of word. It would be tremendous to find. I think there's at least one player that's played it, but I'm not sure. This is also, isn't this also the one of Joe Edley's usernames, or no?
Yeah, I believe that's his Aerolith name, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I've heard about a bot playing this word. I forget against who. I don't know if any players have played it, but certainly if anyone in the comment section or has played it or knows of anyone who has played it, then let us know.
Indeed. Okay, so next one is a big test for you. It's a word that I heard you mispronounce directly on your stream, on your video. So let's see if you have since learned how to pronounce this word.
That would be Levigate.
That would have been, yes. Are you standing strong with that pronunciation?
I am absolutely standing strong. That is, I think I said it again last week on my YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, unfortunately, the real pronunciation, Levigate. I was just so surprised to hear you pronounce the G with such a what is this called? A long G rather than a short G. But yes, Levigate. I think you know that, but you know why pronounce it like that when it's so much fun to pronounce something and get people's reactions to it.
I'm too deep in at this point. Why change now, right?
Exactly. But yeah, we'll give you the point anyway because it's such a great pronunciation. But let's listen to the proper one for a second.
Levigate.
Okay, boring. All right, next one here. Let's see. Another English word, not a loan word as much as some of these other ones.
Okay, this one would be parochial.
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 That is 100% correct.
Let's go.
Parochial. All right, on a roll here. And all right, I have a couple more. I think 3 more. Let's see if you can get some points on these next few.
Ooh. See, this one, it's funny because you look at it and you think it's Roentgen, but I don't believe that's correct because I happen to know that runt or Rontgen is also a word without the E. So that makes me think it's actually Roentgen. And that's going to be my final answer here, Roentgen.
Do. Who wants to be a millionaire? Now you do, I think, have it all wrong, Mac. I think the pronunciation is Roentgen. Let's see.
Wow.
Let's hear it.
Roentgen.
Roentgen, but there are other potential pronunciations on this page.
Roentgen.
Roentgen also
Roentgen.
possible, and Roentgen apparently another pronunciation, but you got none of those. But
0
none
points
of them.
there for sure. Yeah, I seem to struggle with the G here. I actually the same issue as I guess Levigate or Levigate from earlier. I said Gen instead of Gen. So yeah, the G and me not getting along, and it also doesn't get along with me over the board. I do not like the G. I'd say there's probably only one person who dislikes the G more than me, and it's the person I'm talking to right now.
Indeed, but this is one of those words that I feel like top players, especially expert players, have played a lot, either the form without the first E or with it, and probably after keeping something like tenor or tone or something on their rack, tends to get played a lot. But this is a weird form of GEN. Most words that end in GEN, I believe, are pronounced gen. So kind of tripped you up there, but that's what the game is. All right, next one.
Oh yeah, this is a really fun 9. I remember back when I was studying the high prob 9s. This was one of the certainly one of the most surprising looking of the high prob 9s, at least the top 1,000 or so. And it's funny, this one I actually was wondering how to pronounce it because it was such a crazy looking word. And I do remember looking this up years ago. The question is whether I remember correctly what I looked up, and I believe it was Wheatlander, but you'll have to let me know if that's correct.
All right, well, there are a couple of possible pronunciations, if I remember correctly. Let's have a listen to the main one.
Uitlander.
Uitlander, apparently.
Outlander.
Or Outlander, because it is a form of the word Outlander, I think. Just with the UI, given that it's an Afrikaans word, I believe. But Wheatlander, definitely better than how I pronounce it, Uitlander.
Well, that was my first thought when I
getting
learned
there.
the word, but I kind of assumed that was not correct. And yeah, well, it seems like what I remember was also not correct, though. So 0 points.
All right. So, this I think is the end of the slide, if I am not mistaken. But this was... Oh, there are 2 more slides, actually. I think I have 1 extra word. Let's see if you can pronounce this one.
Oh, okay. So this is an interesting one. It's a huge cactus that's native to the western U.S., mainly the southwestern, and it's funny because you instinctively think it's saguaro, but again, this is where maybe my Scrabble knowledge will throw me off, like it did with Roentgen, if I'm even remembering that word correctly. But I know this is also a word with an H instead of a G, Sahuaro. So because of that, I'm gonna go Saguaro.
Oh man, so close. So, unfortunately, I believe that is not correct. I don't think the H is pronounced. What's funny is I looked this up on the Merriam-Webster website and it was totally wrong. They're pronouncing it Sawara, but I think it is Saguaro. We're not pronouncing the G or the H. And yeah, this is a common cactus. Really could get really, really tall. But yeah, you were close there, and your Scrabble knowledge got you somewhere, but not quite to the finish line. But yeah, some tough ones here. I think that we should do this again with more English seeming words. See how you do, because you did get the ones that are like more common English, not loan words. And yeah, we got, I think, a total of 4, maybe 4 points at the end of this.
Something like
But
that.
yeah, it's it's tough. Pronunciations are tough, and they're completely unnecessary to being a good Scrabble player. And I think people would do well to remember that. Mac, pretty much the best player in North America. He don't need no pronunciation.
It is interesting though, because in a sense it is humbling in a way to know I know all of these words, right? And I know the definitions of a fair amount of them. I mean, many of these words that I mispronounced today, I knew the definition, like this one, or very close to what the definition was. But it just goes to show you, how much Scrabble players take for granted words as sort of strings of letters and more or less codes and tools to scoring points and winning this game, as opposed to words that really do have an etymology and depth and a deeper meaning. So sometimes you do kind of lose sight of that, which in some ways is a little bit unfortunate. So it's, I think, nice to do these kind of exercises to remind ourselves that yes, these are all words that we use to score points, but they all do have a deeper meaning and roots. It's kind of cool to look at.
Indeed, indeed. Couldn't have said it better myself. Just because I'm putting Mac on the spot doesn't mean I actually know how to pronounce these words. Most of them, I looked up the pronunciations because I myself was curious how to pronounce them, and most of the time I was wrong as well. So roles could be reversed. There are probably a decent amount of players that do know how to pronounce these words, but most of the time it's trial and error. We'll say a word wrong and someone will correct us in the comments or in the chat if we're streaming. And thank you to all of you. We appreciate your corrections, and we hope we aren't turning you off of our game just because we're not etymologists or pronunciologists. Challenge. All right, Mac. Well, thanks so much for participating in this. Hopefully we'll do more of these in the future. Stuff like this. Feel free to put me on the spot as well. It'd be a lot of fun.
Totally. Yeah, no, thanks, Josh, for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, a little bit humbling, but also awakening. So a lot of fun. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And yeah, definitely agree. Hope to have another one of these in the not too distant future. See you guys.
Hello. Dinner has started. I've got fajitas, and it's me to eat first.